ginger.
Oh,
I might have one. Welcome everybody to Spirit Café Sessions with Nikki and
still Kim.
still
Still
Kim.
Kim.
Still Kim. Um, I'm going to open this by saying if my voice cracks, it's because I do think I have a sinus infection. Um, TMI, because like my mucus in my nose is like a little bit green. And I feel fine other than that, other than the headache and the like,
Mm.
tension here on my face.
Sounds like you need to do some over the
Yeah, I know.
steaming.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
drinking nothing the last. I always drink hot water and lemon because it's so good for you, right? I drink it a few times a week, but the last couple days I've been drinking it like at least once or twice a day with ginger and turmeric and well, my spiced honey. So
That's
this
what you
is
got
there's
going on
no
right now? No tea?
this is just hot water, lemon and ginger. No spiced honey because sometimes it like,
Mm,
you know,
I see. Well, hopefully
anyway.
you're feeling better soon.
Uh, it's terrible. It's more annoying than anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about my woes.
We say Happy Mother's Day to those
That's right.
who
Celebrate.
want to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. And I love the card that came out. I actually found one of my old decks because I've been going through my old decks because I have 52 decks of tarot and I'm trying to get rid of the ones I don't use anymore. And I found my old deck, the Ethereal Bloom Tarot, and I used it like only a handful of times, so it's like in pristine condition. And I was shuffling as Kim and I were talking about, our problems, in quotations,
Life.
life. And the High Priestess came out, so I'm taking it for Mother's Day. What an
Nice.
amazing card to get, especially
Mm.
since what I have to talk to you about today and what I'm reading for you guys, some stories, is about mother's intuition. And the High Priestess came out, which is the card of the intuitive, of spiritualism, of connecting, of being mysterious, of being magnetic, of all these wonderful things. So we could be going into the week post Mother's Day feeling very good about ourselves, feeling very centered, feeling very in tune with who we are and where we're going, which is actually a pretty big theme for divine feminines for this year. Complete rebirth in a different way than with divine masculines. They're going through a phoenix thing for the entire year. Feminines are going through a completely internal shift. Who am I? What do I want? I'm not doing this anymore. A lot of divine feminines already that I have worked with for the last like year or two, completely different from when they started with me. In a good way, in a positive way.
Yes.
So we might be feeling that type of energy all throughout May. And I love it and keep pushing forward. Work on whatever you feel called to work on. If that's spiritualism, great. If that's a form of religion, fantastic. Whatever you feel called on, work on it.
If it's something that you feel called on, if you're finding at first like it's a little bit, you're hesitant and there's a little bit of like kind of stopping you, just just let that all go and just get into it. Like just free
No
yourself.
expectations.
Yeah, and don't put pressure onto yourself because just because somebody else does it great doesn't mean you need to do it great right away and you didn't see where they started.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
just know that this is part of you becoming you and you're not somebody else. So stop comparing yourself to these other people.
Yeah. Which leads us quickly
Mm.
into Kim's series, which has launched last week. Yeah,
No,
last
this
Monday,
week,
right?
Monday, this Monday, Monday that just passed. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be last week because this is.
Well, this
Oh
is
yeah,
just
yeah,
this
I guess
week.
not. See, the week starts with me Sunday. It's so
Hmm.
everybody goes Monday to Sunday. I go Sunday to Sunday. I don't know why I've always done that.
Oh,
Anyway, I know. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so yes, technically it started this week. It is on our TikTok. Kim, you want to touch base about it? Touch base as if I'm at work.
Yeah. Well, it's what I'm doing is a series. It's I don't know if it's going to be how long it's going to be, but right now it just kind of keeps coming out. And I'm doing just little TikToks about touching on just little things that I think people should be aware of. I think people need to hear. I'm kind of doing it as a friend having a talk with you. So just
That's actually what it feels like.
yeah, just
As
kind
if
of
like I'm talking to you through the screen, like
yeah.
usual.
So, if you are finding these things, I've had three out now. and talked about different things. And I would like to know your thoughts. I would like to know, if you could put in the comments your thoughts about the topic I had, maybe troubles you've had or successes you've had or ideas, because I just really want this to kind of make a bit of a community so people can get together. And at some point I'm going to start doing lives as well, so then we can talk about them. And
Yay.
I just really want us to become something that you can go to instead of just going onto YouTube.
Absolutely.
Just so that you see, because our TikTok account right now doesn't
Absolutely.
really have much, and we put everything out on YouTube. So I just kind of want to bring things together, and a lot of times it'll be stuff that we've already talked about, or whatever, but just kind of in a shorter version. Maybe, I've got a different take from it, or, different words that maybe will hit home if it hasn't hit home for you yet, or whatever. So
Love
yeah,
that.
it's
I
fun.
like that.
It's fun.
I like that. I certainly am enjoying it. Just so everybody's aware, I'm not watching them before they're uploaded, which I like quite a bit. And no spoilers as to what they're about. But what is exciting about this series is that Kim actually also keeps it. They're on the short side rather. They're like 5, 6, 7 minutes, right?
Well, I
They're
try to
not.
keep them under 5 about, so.
Yeah, yeah, which is really really good because a attention span, and b there was something I read with when you're more alert, especially when you're starting your day, or you're starting to listen to something new that pops up on your screen, or what, the first 5 to 10 minutes of what somebody's saying is what resonates the most. So that's why I think it is like absolutely perfect that Kim has not cut this series, but she's divided this series up so it's not like one long podcast episode. So you guys can pick and choose, because maybe there's a topic that Kim, is talking about that you already know so much about. They're not like connected, which is a huge bonus, I think.
Yeah, and it was just like this podcast. It was just something that came to me. And I said to Nikki, "Okay, guess what? I got to do this."
I loved it.
And so I'm making myself do it. And I'm enjoying it. I'm very new to doing TikToks and recording. So I'm kind of trying things. So they might look a little different until I find my groove. But I found the little stickers. So I can have little stickers I can find
I
some
love
pretty
it.
cute ones too. So yeah.
Okay. So check out the series, everybody. Let's check out the series. Let's get on with motherhood and spirituality. By the way, this is not going to be kind of what you guys are expecting. I think a lot of people are going to be expecting we're going to teach mothers how to be spiritual and stuff. That might pop up a little bit, but it's really not that. It really is an episode about honoring mothers and being empathetic towards what mothers go to, and realizing that almost every experience that you experience as a mother, whether they're your child or not your child, is a spiritual experience. It it is a very big experience. So, I would like to read a definition of a mother, which I came across and I really, really like. And I don't like that I don't know who said it. But whatever, it's one of those things. There's so many definitions of a motherhood out there. But this one was one of my favorite. Okay? A mother. What's the definition of a mother? A person who does the work of 20 for free. Also known as a masochist.
Yes.
All
Actually,
right.
my grandmother actually used to say, and it's really sad, and because I know it's going to just get more pronounced as time goes on. But she said one mother can look after 10 kids, but 10 kids cannot look after one mother.
I want to say truth to that. At least in my family.
Yeah.
Now they're none of them are going to listen to the podcast anymore now. Now I'm in for it.
No, they will for sure, because they're like, "What are you saying?" No, but it's true,
Oh,
right?
that's true.
It's just
That's
because
true.
they just, you know,
Yeah.
I think mothers so much just give, and I've actually talked about this in this week's that have been released here, that mothers, like, it's like just forget that you're somebody, that you deserve to have a life, that you deserve to have things as well, because you're so constantly worried about making sure that your kids have what they need, whether that's like food, shelter, some kind of, love, uh,
You know what I read?
activities.
Oh, I read about mothers, and I think it's very, very true. And I read this once a long time ago, and it stuck with me. You're absolutely right, because mothers, the majority of mothers out there, it's like there's an unspoken rule that their job is to be the, in a sense, the creator and keeper of memories for her family. And I'm not just talking about, oh, make sure you're taking tons of pictures and tons of photos and tons of videos, and oh, mom's not in it because she's always the one holding the camera. I'm talking about throughout the entire lifespan of a child till they're 18, you
You're
know?
responsible, right?
Yeah.
If you take them to some place and you're like, "Oh, this is going to be really fun. We're going to go to this really cool swimming hole," right? And you go there and it's like bogged down with mud and
Mm-hmm.
you know, mosquitoes. Well, nobody's going to have a good memory about that. And the mom is going to sit there and just like go over and
Butcher.
over and over and over like, wow, I'm so dumb. Why did it,
Absolutely.
like, so that's what a mother does, because you feel so responsible for making your kids have the best life that they can have,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
and falling
You know, it's
short because nobody has that ability all the time.
no, no, it's a double-edged sword. Everything in life, I'm finding, everything now in life is a double-edged sword. You cannot win. Everything is a double-edged sword. You know, you've got to work your 9 to 5, and then, oh, hurry up though and get home and make dinner, make sure they do homework and do the laundry and do the dishes and do all that, right? Motherhood is one of the biggest double-edged swords that there is out there. It's probably a hill that I'll die on. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a mother, but I'm saying that because it's what I see with so many other mothers I know, or so many other clients that are mothers that I know. It's the same. It's the same thing. And it sucks because we get so boggled down with all these little details that we think that are important, that we oftentimes we do miss like the smaller and quieter ways that motherhood can be spiritual. And I know a lot of people struggle for it, because there is that whole aspect of you have a child and all of a sudden you start losing yourself. You know, you've lost yourself, and for some people that includes their spirituality or their connection to, religion or their God or whatever they believe in, because worshiping maybe goes out the window as much as they,
Oh,
because they can't, right?
yeah. No, absolutely.
And then it adds to the guilt.
Yeah.
And on top of the guilt of not being able to connect spiritually in the way that they used to, they're also feeling like, I can't connect and I'm losing myself. I don't know who I am, but oh my God, my kid needs me. I'll figure it out later. And then yet that emptiness comes in, and I hate it. I hate it. I see
Depression,
that so
anxiety.
much.
I had that happen to me. I was
So
already
common.
doing this, and I had my three kids placed with me 8 years ago. And at that time, I was studying to be a minister. I was doing a whole bunch of courses. I was practicing mediumship, things like that. And my kids were being placed with me, and I'd never had children before. So I went from 0 to 3 suddenly, and I pulled back for a while. Like, I couldn't go to church and do service, and I couldn't
Yeah.
go and sit in circle. And I found very quickly I felt almost done upon. I don't know if that makes sense. I was feeling very put out, because
Okay.
I knew I knew what I needed to want to live, but I couldn't in my head make it work for the kids.
Okay.
And so it was a struggle, like trying to figure out, how am I going to do this, and look after myself. And eventually I finally realized, well, nothing's going to be perfect all the time, because I think every parent, when they have a child, it was funny today because I actually was heard, it was like a dietitian or something, and or no, she's actually, this is a labor and delivery nurse, was on. She's like a comedian, I guess, and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
she lives here, and so she's a labor and delivery nurse. And she said, when you have your first kid, you're like, oh, they got to have this and this, and you're like making sure they have all these special
Yeah.
things. And
100%.
she says, but then you realize every kid is going to be eating McDonald's fries off off
100%.
the floor of your car. So really, like, why do you need to be so perfect, right? Like it's going to end there anyhow. So you got to
And
let it go.
also, half the stuff that they tell you you need for a baby, you don't need. I am telling you, you don't need diapers, bottles, the basic stuff you guys need, but there's a lot of stuff that is out there for the consumer that I'm going to tell you you're not going to use. Because there's a lot of stuff I got that I wanted, with my daughters that, I had to have. Oh, you've got to have. So I got it and used it once, twice. So just be careful about that. Be
Pressure off
careful about
yourself.
that. Yeah, take the
Absolutely.
pressure off yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, just because, that somebody tells you you need it, do you? Or did they need it, right? Anyway, I think what a lot of people miss with motherhood is that you can it's not that you miss it with motherhood, but if you're struggling with, like Kim said, how she got so busy she couldn't make it to church, she couldn't make it to circle and stuff like that. And we've all been there. I mean, I didn't go to church, but I had my own spiritual things, and with my daughters it got very difficult, and at times still to this day it's difficult for me to accommodate, and I will get frustrated because it is such a big part of me. But then I remember again, and I read this and I can't remember where, but it was years ago, and it was so like profound because it's basically said this is what we're missing though. There's an idea of what we think what spirituality is to us, and we hold on to it like with a vice grip, as long as it's a life jacket off the Titanic. And we miss that spirituality also is present in the way that we teach our kids, in the way that we actually care about them, like in the way that we teach, empathy and kindness and emotional awareness. Those elements are just as spiritual as, getting on your, knees at the, at the end of the day in your bed and saying the rosary, or going to temple or whatever. Being fully present in those moments is a form of spirituality, which I don't think a lot of people realize. They don't. The good moments, the bad moments. There's something really nice. There's something very deeply profound about helping nurture another human being, which I do believe is spiritual, and we miss that. We miss it, and we don't talk about it. Whether that's raising your own child, raising a child that's part of your family, adopting, whatever it is that you do, you get to create this safety and love and support for another human being, and that is astounding. And that is what I think is like top of the line spirituality
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to being a mother and, adopting motherhood as they call it, right?
Well, and then there's so many like mothers who would do that. And I also want to include fathers who are mothers as well,
That's right.
right?
Many of them out there.
Yeah. But so when you're doing that, you're also, if you take this stuff away from you, you're teaching that child how they are to look after themselves as they grow older.
Exactly.
And it's right from birth, how they see you, what they see you do, what they see you put aside. So many people like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but so many people martyr themselves, right? Like, oh, I do this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
But all you're teaching your child is how to be a martyr, not how to live life. Know that there's going to be challenges, because without challenges, you're not living a spiritual life, because
Absolutely.
you are
Absolutely.
learning lessons. And these are some of these are hard damn lessons. Some of these will make
Ugh.
you wonder, like, if you're gonna make it out.
Oh
And
man. Some of them are going to make you question whether you're a good mother slash
absolutely,
father. Those are the big ones.
yeah. And so just give yourself a break and say, okay, this is the way it is. Your child is not gonna suddenly, blow up and be gone because you took a night for yourself, or if you started having something that you put a boundary. So this is one of the topics I have, and it was just released on Friday. So boundaries, have your boundaries. Don't forget that you need to have a life too. And that is it, because we do for others and we forget to live our lives.
I have to bring in that's a very good point, and I'm a I do I I don't know who told me this was when I was pregnant. I can't. You know who it was? I think it was it was my my great aunt, one of my favorite aunts, and she's no longer with us, but she was just an exceptional woman, and she said something like that to me once. When I was in my early 20s, and she said it as a joke, but it wasn't, it's a joke that's not a joke, one of those things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I got pregnant the first time, I did not let that go. Basically, what she said to me was, your children are your children. Your children are not, when you have children, they're your life, they're your everything, they're your everything. But do not let them become your whole life. And she did not mean that in the way that a lot of people take it. What she meant is go out. Let them see you have friends. Let them see you have hobbies. Let them see that you love them, but you've got to, take a break. You've got to, collect yourself. Let them see you be human so that they can be human, because there's so much guilt around motherhood.
You're
So much
constantly,
guilt.
your children are constantly watching you.
Yeah.
And
They're
you are
mirrors too, by
showing
the way.
them how to live life. And again, if you're showing them that, you got to keep yourself in, you got to be miserable, that's, and then they start questioning. Not only do they start questioning, like, how they should and shouldn't do, or, what are going on, but then they start going, Mom's really unhappy all the time. Is this my fault? And then they start taking it on. And then you have
Because the
these
mother
children.
starts living through the children.
Yeah. And then you have these children who are,
Mhm.
scared to go have fun because like now they feel like, oh, they're like putting their mom out, or they're somehow affecting their mom's life, because kids have these thoughts, right? Like
Oh, they do. Oh, kids are
you
smart.
are pretty much their entire world. Well, you are their entire world to a certain point, to a certain age, and then they start getting out. But that's why you need to show them, so that when they get out to that thing, then they can start developing, instead of feeling guilty. Because so many kids, like I know mine, if they see me upset or whatever, like they feel guilty. And in particular, one of my kids, he like feels really guilty with anything that might upset me, and then he feels bad, and it's like, well, it's not your fault and it's not your job, right? Like,
You're right. You're right.
and
No, you're right.
so they're watching you, so live your life, because that's what you want. You want your kids to have a better life than you did.
Oh, absolutely.
So by showing them this, you're going to give them that, because they're going to have that ability. You're
Yeah.
breaking those cycles. You're breaking the cycle of working all the time and, don't have time for you, don't have time for you. You're breaking those cycles. You're giving them time. You're showing them how to be humans, be people in this world, and potentially, if they choose, to be a parent themselves.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
they're a
No, I
recorder.
love that. No, I absolutely love that. I love that. It's very true because families are important. Families are important. All of that is, but your family can't be your whole life, and that's the problem. A lot of people will do that, and then something happens to the family, and they don't know who they are.
And
Happens
that's the
quite a
same.
lot.
And it's not just you being a parent, but being a partner, like in a
Yeah.
relationship, right? If you're taking on all this, like your partner's also going to be like, what can I do? Because suddenly they're not the same person. And then you start having problems inside that. And then,
Mhm.
so to actually stand in your own, look after yourself, and do the things that make your heart sing,
Mhm.
that will
Mhm.
be the healthiest for your children, your partner, all of your relationships. If you are,
And it's inspirational to the children. If they
yeah,
see you taking care of yourself, they see you putting your spirituality first. They see you being like, you know what? No, every Sunday I go to church at this time. I want to go to service. This is good for, mommy. This makes me feel good. This is something that they see. And they see, oh, okay, mom takes, her spirituality very seriously. Mom, she loves to go, to God's house, as kids,
yeah,
call it.
yeah,
Like, God's house, Jesus' house.
hmm
They see that, and they see that that's okay, that mom can go and do that, even with or without them.
hmm
That is such a strong thing to teach children,
yeah,
right?
because they don't know anything. Oh, they think they do, especially when they get to a certain
Oh yeah.
vintage, like
Oh yeah.
mid-teens. They know
Yeah.
everything, and we're dumb, but they will eventually come back. And again, it everything that you're showing them is you're showing them how to adult
Absolutely.
and how to be
Absolutely.
human beings and how to love
Absolutely.
themselves. That's very critical. You need to teach your children how to love themselves and to truly love themselves. And the only way you can do that is by loving yourself.
Absolutely. And putting yourself first once in a while. And I know for some mothers that's a struggle. It sucks, especially if you have a mindset where you already don't put yourself first and nope, kids come first. Work on that a little bit, please, because I'm telling you, it will be a game changer. I've seen so many people go from that mindset, where nope, kids first, kids first, kids first, kids first, and then there's the burnout. They feel that burnout. They're sitting in a therapist chair, and the therapist will always say, "And you? And what about you?" And no, you. And then all of a sudden, I've had this happen, I'll be honest, to three friends of mine. Same thing. Kids, 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 always kids, bringing kids everywhere, kids, kids, kids. My God, that one time I actually said, we're going on vacation, no children allowed. There's no children allowed on this vacation. I remember this. Oh, but you're a mom. I don't care that I'm a mom. I said no kids. I said no kids. Okay. I actually did that. But anyway, so and it was a great vacation. They were very happy because they got to relax and they got to just take that breather. And guess what? Their kids were so ecstatic to see them when they got home that anyway, the point of the story is I have seen three people, their kids are their whole lives until they aren't and they can't take it anymore and they've lost themselves and stuff like that. And then they went to the therapist chair and they worked through it and they started to put themselves first. And I saw I saw burnt out mothers. I'm telling you, burnt out mothers. Okay, complete 180, complete 180. And then not only did that change them, but it changed the dynamic in their home. So that's what I started to believe, that in a way the woman is the head of the household. Or is it the man's the head of the household, but the woman's the neck, or whatever they call it? I saw that for every time with those three friends. I saw that because then the marriages got better. The the things with the kids got better. The problems with the kids started to disappear because the kids saw that you took yourself seriously, right? So, believe it or not, long story short, what Kim's saying is having boundaries is a form of spiritualism. It is.
Self-care for sure.
It's self-care, it's connecting with yourself. Show your kids and don't be scared. And you can always start small, little baby steps, every second Friday, or going to church by yourself
Yeah.
if you want to at times, right? Baby steps is sometimes all it
Not
takes,
saying
right?
like blow off half the week and go off,
No, absolutely
out to
not.
bars every night and stuff like that, whatever, right? Like that's not it. But, if you're just going to go out and just have tea with a friend, or maybe you're into music and you got another friend who's into music, you just go watch a live band one evening, if you got to get a sitter or whatever.
Perfect.
I was going to hockey until I couldn't anymore this season. And because they lost. Anywho, so
I was gonna be like, why, Kim?
but that is
I know.
for me, coming up in this, like I decided to get these hockey tickets about
For you.
about 4 years, but so it was about like 4 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever.
Mhm.
I had the kids for a little while and I'd put off a lot of things, but I needed something that was mine, only mine, that
Absolutely.
I could just lose myself in. And that is hockey.
Absolutely.
So, I get people who are like, "Oh, that's a lot of money." You know what? It might be a bit of money, but I take care of it. I know that I'm always going to be good, and it is something that like it charges me. Like when I have hockey coming, it charges me. And I get in there and I get the goosebumps and I just like, and I'm watching it and I get so excited. And sometimes I feel like I'm going to cry because I just like so overwhelmed because I just feel like it's just so electric sometimes in there, especially in the playoffs. And it gets up to like
It's
112
the energy.
decibels,
It's the
Yeah.
energy.
Like you could feel
I love it.
112 decibels and all these people all excited. And it just like, it's that, it's that energy that just jolts you, you
Yeah.
know? And
And it's yours for those few hours.
mm,
It's yours, just yours.
yeah.
And that's the whole point. Something that is just yours and it brings that spark back.
Yeah.
And that's what is important because spirituality is all about having that spark with your consciousness and your soul. So we can't lose it as mothers because we want to pass that on. Well, pass it on, show it, as Kim says, to our children,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's a perfect example because that right there is something that mothers complete guilt. I see it all the time. Oh no, I don't want to get my nails done. That's $100. That's good. When did you get your nails done? Like once or twice a year? Go get your nails done. I see it all the time. I just had this discussion with somebody about nails. That's why it's fresh. But that's it.
Yeah.
And also, it's nobody's business what you spend your money on.
Absolutely. And
Zero.
a lot of times, if they're like, "Oh, that's a lot of money. Why are you doing that?" A lot of times, it's because there's a jealousy under there, right?
Yeah, I
Because
was
they
gonna say.
haven't figured out a way to do it. And I just, I know because I love it so much. I know Spirit will look after me. So
Absolutely.
I'm not a millionaire or anything, but you know what? I get to do what I want to do and still be a parent and not have help from anybody else. So that makes me proud, and that also shows my children, you know,
I was gonna say.
you can do these things because it's something
Yep.
that you enjoy.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it gives me, there's people that I only see there, right? And so I got like little
Mm-hmm.
like friends, and you
Mm-hmm.
kind of meet people, and
It's
it's
an
just that
escape a little
whole,
bit.
yeah, and it's just such a great thing, you know. But like,
It is.
not everybody is going to have hockey, but this could be for anything, right? Like if there's like a
Mm-hmm.
band you like, and they're, and they come and they play or whatever, or just, like live music can get you going too, right? It just fills your soul. Like
Yeah.
you need something to take you away.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah. No,
add to your
you definitely
problems.
do. Yeah, you definitely do. Um, and it will make you feel better. And I think a lot of moms that already do this would agree with us that they get that relief. And the first couple times you do it, you will feel that guilt. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gonna be
Oh
there.
yeah.
Get over it. I'm just gonna be blunt. Get over it because you will. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't let that guilt stop you from walking out that door the following week or whenever you have the plan again. Just do it. You'll get over the guilt. It'll be fine. You'll survive. I'll be honest. And it's interesting because a lot of people don't see that again as a form of spirituality, but it is because you're connecting with yourself. And I want to say it again, anything that causes you to connect with yourself and your soul and make you feel alive and make you feel that spark of that is a form of spirituality. Okay. You don't have to kneel and say the rosary. You don't have to be in front of an altar. You can if you want to be. And in motherhood, doing those things sometimes is very difficult. I read all these tips when I was prepping for this episode. One of the tips was exit the family home, exit the family situation, don't lose yourself, which is exactly what we talked about. Another phenomenal one I thought was when you have those moments to yourself, baby sleeping or kids are watching TV, and you just get to sit down and your stuff, just being grateful. Oh my God, thank you God for giving me this like 10 seconds of peace. Oh my God, thank you so much for letting the kids fall asleep. That, believe it or not, is spirituality. That is gratitude, and that is
Attitude.
a form of you being spiritual. Is when you're like laying in bed, oh my God, thank you God, like the kids fell asleep 2 hours early, now I can crash. That's all that you need to do. That's all that it is. Okay. You don't need to keep up the full roster, as they say, with spirituality when you're a mother, because I'll be honest, unless you have a nanny, it's going to be difficult.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
Kim? It's going to be difficult.
And if you don't have someone in the home to help you, and you are, on your own, still try to find, whether it's like maybe have a special corner somewhere, maybe in your room, have something set up in there that you can just specifically know, this is my relaxing, like maybe you have a nice chair, and so you can sit there and just like, apart from anywhere else in the house, and just
Hmm.
feel like, whether you're going to meditate or listen to music or listen to podcasts or whatever you do to pull you out of your constant, like, oh, this needs to be done, because that's what that goes to your head, right? Like it's just like, okay, well, oh, I
So,
got a laundry, and
yeah.
oh crap, I forgot to cancel that appointment, oh shoot, I got this appointment, and oh my gosh, we didn't do this appointment yet, that's me, that's my inner model. It's like
Seriously, inner conversation.
all the time. And,
Hmm.
I need to do stuff to pull myself out of it.
Yep.
And depending on the moods I'm in, if it's a trying day or whatever, and say I'm driving home from work or whatever, I will like crank out my loudest, hardest music, and it just like takes everything out of my head, and I just get
Uh-huh.
into it, and that's how I have my freedom. And I'll just sometimes I'll even go down country roads and kind of drive a little faster and just have the windows
And that's it.
open.
That's how you connect, and
Yeah.
that's it. And that's all sometimes it takes, guys. The whole point is that things change when you become a mom. We all know this.
Hmm.
A parent,
Parent, absolutely.
things change, right? They change. When you enter motherhood, you don't have enough time to do a lot of things. You've got to find those moments, and in those moments is where you can find that little spark of spirituality. It doesn't have to be massive. Most times, the smaller the better, honestly.
Yeah, as
The
long as
more
you're
that you
honoring
connect.
yourself.
That's right. That's right. As long as you're present, just follow your intuition when it comes to that stuff. We all have it and stuff. Oh, I just gave my way out. I just gave my way to the intuition stories.
Oh, you just did your own segue, did you?
I love that.
Nice.
Uh,
It's usually me
anyway,
by accident.
I know what happened, and I'm the sleep deprived one. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
Mother's intuition. I've always believed that since I was a little kid, because of my mother. But my mother's weird, so but I've always believed it, and I'm very fortunate, because there's a lot of people that don't, which is silly because it's a thing. Mother's intuition is a very real and science backed phenomenon driven by, I have, of course, definition, neurobiology, hormonal shifts, and intense pattern recognition. So don't tell me it's not real, okay? During pregnancy and after birth, chemical changes remodel the brain to heighten sensitivity to a child's needs, sounds, and emotions, fostering a deep protective bond. A gut level awareness that has been studied and proven over and over again over the last few decades. Now I've got some stories about mother's intuition. I tried to think of one of my own, but I could not think of one, maybe because I am a little sleep deprived. Um, oh no, I have a perfect one, but I don't want to say it right now. Kim's gonna find out after. You guys, you don't get to hear it yet. Anyway,
Uh,
all right. Story number one. I was pregnant with my first and only child, and I went into labor around the due date. It was no big deal. I went to the hospital and was sent home because my contractions were too far apart, and I was told to return when my contractions were once every 2 minutes. That's excessive to me. 2 minutes? That's too close. Anyway, I remained calm for a number of hours before going back in, because I was reaching more frequent contractions. And I just had a feeling that something wasn't right, and I was getting distraught, and it's like I couldn't control it. Um, the nurses again tried to send me away, insisted and I insisted that something didn't feel right, okay? They weren't rude or dismissive, the nurses, but they did push me back a little bit and tell me that childbirth is stressful and I will feel a lot of things I've never felt before, especially with my first baby, and that I might be a little bit over exaggerating the not right feeling. I didn't care. I insisted I wasn't going to go home, and I said, "Can they just check I'm not moving from the spot?" They checked my baby's heart rate. And sure enough, every time I had a contraction, my son's heart rate completely stopped. They performed an emergency C-section, and I was holding my son within a half an hour of arriving back into the hospital. He was completely fine immediately after birth, but I hate to think that he might have died as my contractions increased. That is something the doctor said could have happened.
yeah,
Huh?
you need to do that. You need to, a
Follow
mother's
it.
intuition. Absolutely.
Follow it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Number two. I woke up after midnight one night and I felt the need to check my 16-year-old son Life 360, and I saw his car was stopped at an interstate bridge. He called shortly after to tell me his car slid into the wall of the bridge in the ice and another car slid into him. He called the police first because the guy who slid into him was threatening him, but all he could think was, "Oh my God, I wish my mom was here." So she woke up and checked right away. Love that story. Okay, this is a good one. In high school, I suffered really bad migraines. I also had one particular male teacher who wasn't very nice to me or any of the females. He always thought I and the other females in my class were lying when we said we weren't feeling well. And he wouldn't ever let any of us leave to see the nurse, or even let anyone put their head down on their desk. I asked him to do this when I had the migraine, and he said no. One day, my mom was at home while I was in school, and she swears she heard me calling for her somewhere in the house. She walked around, even checking outside, thinking somehow I'd walked home, skipped school, been dropped off or something. Meanwhile, I'm at school in so much pain in this teacher's class, about to vomit. Finally, this grossed him out enough that he let me leave and call my mom. When her phone rang after I called her, my mom said she was already in the car driving to the school because she knew something was wrong with me. Hmm? That's crazy. Mother's intuition, guys, very, very big thing. Very big thing. I had one personal story that recently happened to me, and I don't want to tell it right now because it's too fresh. But Kim, do you have any?
Um, well, without a whole lot of detail, I know for me, um, one of my children was struggling a lot, and I was watching it, and I was concerned about, I had a feeling that something was happening that, you know, that they were doing. And so I talked to the counselor and I said, I think this is happening. And they said, "Oh, no, no, no. Like that is not going to be, like why you think this is going to happen is not that doesn't have like a, that doesn't happen. That's kind of not like
Okay.
a manifestation of it or whatever, right?"
Yeah.
And I said, well, I really think that this is what they're doing. And after she met with them, she called me back and said, "You're right. You were right. They are doing that." And so we had to make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew. I knew, like, and because what was happening was so, it was a little different, but it wasn't anything that would really put off flags. But to me, I went, if you're doing that, I think you're also doing this. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
that leads to this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like just for her to be like, no, no. And it was, and I'm so glad it was the person who did do it, because when she called, she was like, "You are right. You're absolutely right. This is absolutely what's happening." You could find a lot of people who would be, sometimes you find, if you don't find the right people or whatever, they kind of gaslight you, right? Like if they find
Mm-hmm.
out, it's like, oh no, because they told you no, that's not going to happen. So they're not going to admit to you, right? And just the fact that she did and validated the feelings I was having, it was quite amazing, and it was it really helped it, like,
Mm-hmm.
for me to know, okay, I can trust myself, I can trust this
Yeah.
stuff, and not just
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
a sensationalist or whatever. Like am
Yeah.
I overthinking this? But I wasn't, and I'm glad that I had that intuition, because things kids do these days can be pretty scary,
Mm-hmm.
just because they don't want to be, they have pain for whatever reason, and they find ways to deal with it that are not healthy. And I guess a mom to try to suss that out and try to be supportive and hope that it doesn't happen, um, to an extent or whatever, then yeah, I know it was very convoluted and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but
But it's
it was something that absolutely is a terrifying thing. I
Mhm.
think that most parents have probably at some level encountered,
Mhm.
and it's not a good thing, and it's something that they can keep secret, right? So,
Mhm. Mhm.
or at least for a while. And yeah, it was just, yeah, incredibly satisfying that I knew, right? Because yeah, I as a parent, and I'm sure just because I got my children, you know, when they were 6, 7, and 8, that
Mhm.
still doesn't change the fact that I feel like they're part of me. I didn't give
And
birth to, I didn't
they
raise
are.
them, but I really
DNA
do.
doesn't mean anything.
No.
Like DNA means nothing. And people try to argue all the time on this. Unfortunately, sometimes. the people we are related to can do us the biggest harm. So I'm a firm believer that DNA doesn't mean anything.
It's nurture,
It's
not
nurture.
nature. Absolutely.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter how you come in
absolutely.
and, um,
You're a mother, whether you gave birth to this child or you didn't.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's like if you're telling me that you're the mother of this child, then you're the mother of this child. I'm not going to question it. Nobody should question it. I know that there are people with their opinions. That's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
Um, there's a reason why they have those opinions, and they have to look at themselves to see why they have those opinions and are so judgmental towards mothers and the definition of motherhood. Because if you're telling me that this child is yours, whether you birthed it or not, or whether then it's yours.
Well, I've had on more than one occasion somebody tell me that I can't call myself a mother because I did not give birth to them and I did not, do different things. And in particular, my very first Mother's Day, I went to I went to church and
Hmm.
somebody else was up there talking and she was talking about mothers. And she was saying, "You're a mother when you've given birth. It's the only time you're a mother." And I'm thinking,
No,
that's pretty offensive.
no,
Like,
I've known mothers that have given birth and are not mothers.
absolutely. Yeah.
I know mothers so no, there's no evidence, and that argument would fall flat because that's absolutely not true.
So if someone says that, it's
Absolutely not true.
hurtful. So don't listen to them.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm sure we do have some listeners that, maybe don't have children but are phenomenal stepmothers, right?
Or
Or listeners
ants.
who have, or aunts, or listeners who, have adopted a child, or who have a surrogate, you know.
Hmm.
Very common, so common to have surrogates, these days.
Yeah.
You're still a mother even though you didn't carry the child.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. And it's the same thing with a father, right? You know, biologically, biologically, the women take on more of the child bearing than the men. Um, the
That's
men
true,
have
we
a
do.
thing, but,
It's funny.
not every man is a father, right? Um,
Yeah.
and I am so grateful. I've got a few, in particular, two men that have been in my life, and they are the most amazing fathers. And they have parented children on their own because the mothers couldn't be bothered.
It's more common than people think.
Yeah. And people need to realize
It's
that.
much more common than people think.
Hmm.
That there's a lot of mothers out there who just, either for whatever reason decided that it wasn't for them, or, there's whatever they did, and the fathers have stepped up to essentially be both roles, the mother and the father, and they do an astounding job, outstanding job. So there's something to be said about that. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because you brought that up earlier in the episode too. For motherhood, yeah, motherhood, but some fathers are also mothers. Just like how some mothers are also fathers. Yes, yes. But this episode is for Mother's Day, so right. And it's to be said that it takes a lot, and if you are or someone who is a father that is also a mother, it takes a lot to be both, and especially to be a mother. It takes
I
a lot.
do think that, in particular for men who are doing both roles, it's harder for them because
Yes,
society looks at them like, you know, they're, whether you're in the
absolutely.
courts or just society in general, like you're just a dad. So it's
Absolutely.
basically like dad's like, "Oh, are you babysitting?" No, he's not
Oh,
babysitting.
I hate
It's his
that.
dad. Like people are so
Yeah.
tone deaf to situations. Um, and I
My
think
God, that's true.
it's really, really hard for these dads. But the two dads I know are amazing, like amazing. Like
Hmm.
they've struggled a lot, and again, you know, courts are so antiquated. Like it's just ridiculous. But it's for both parents, right? Moms, dads. So if you have somebody in your life, you know, Just
Mm-hmm.
let them be the parent that they are to be. Um, and love them for it and encourage them and help them out if you can. Whether it's, a mom, you know, a stereotypical mom or a dad playing both roles, give them courage, like help them and encourage them.
Give them support.
Hmm.
Support if you can. Support doesn't have to be something major, by the way. I mean,
No.
sometimes a mother just needs like Kim said, encouraging words. That's the most support that she needs. And it's something that we have to hold on to, and we can't drop the ball on that. We've got to be very supportive of mothers, fathers, of course, as well, because motherhood, no matter what generation you're in, is going to be a struggle at one point or another. You're going to go through something very difficult. You're going to go through something very, very hard, and you need the support, even if it's a few kind words. So never cast a shadow over somebody.
No. And that is part of spiritualism. You, if you feel yourself being harsh or judgmental on anybody, as a parent or whatever, look inside yourself. Why? What are you lacking inside yourself that you can't just give unconditional love and acceptance and non-judgment of these other people and the job they're doing? Because they're going to be looking at, people are looking at you too. So give to others what you would want for yourself.
Absolutely.
And by doing that, it'll come back in like tenfold,
Absolutely.
because you are now somebody who's encouraging, not somebody who is, oh, you suck, whatever.
No, it's true though.
It's very hard.
That's what happens. It's an energetic thing.
Yeah.
So it's very, very true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
And the whole, my favorite is the people who don't have children know exactly how to parent the children, and they're very
I
loud.
know.
They're so
I
sweet.
know. They make me
They're
laugh.
sweet.
Yeah.
They're
They make me laugh,
so
those people.
sweet. You
I
just,
love them.
okay. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just love them, love yourself,
Yeah, and
and
just wish them on their way.
yeah,
Yeah, off you go.
not your children,
Um,
but the
no,
naysayers.
no. The yeah, exactly. Exactly. I have a funny question to
Oh,
end this one. Okay. I went through our questions and I was being a little bit picky, and then this actually came from a coworker,
oh,
and I
right.
told her, and then she's like, I have a good one. She's like, I don't think it really matches your theme. And I was like, that's okay, just ask anyway, because sometimes they're theme related, sometimes they can be fun.
Hmm.
So,
Questions are questions.
somebody that I work with who said she is going to listen to the podcast, but I won't name her. She asked me, what are your two's favorite TV mom? I already know my answer because I'm obsessed with this woman.
Who's
I started
yours?
laughing and I was like, easy. Oh God, easy peasy. Lucille Booth from Arrested Development.
Oh yeah, she's a good
She just
mom.
cracked me up so much. I love that show. I was obsessed with that show. She made
That's a
me
good
laugh
show.
so much. So much. And I am going to give a good shout out to Moira Rose, because I loved
Yeah.
Schitt's Creek when it came out. I loved it. I remember watching the first several episodes and telling people and be like, oh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It had a delay reaction to its popularity. I remember that. And yeah, I got to give a shout out to that TV mom. There's so many good ones though, if you really think
Hmm.
about it, from the
Hmm.
90s and early 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Lucille Bluth is my favorite, with Moira Rose coming in like super close. Plus, I love Catherine O'Hara. She was my favorite.
So sad,
I
but
know.
we all go that way. I what does she call herself? Like, it's so old. It's like I haven't seen it for a long time. Is it Peggy Foreman on that
Oh,
70s
Mary
show? No,
No,
no, that 70s show.
it's no, it's Kitty. It's Kitty.
Kitty Foreman. I loved her.
Peggy's from Married with Children.
Right. Yeah, I loved Kitty
Kitty.
Foreman. She was like hilarious,
Oh,
and she'd just be
it
like,
was
whatever,
hilarious.
kids are doing, and she's making her margaritas. Like,
I
I
always
just thought she
loved
was
her
a kid.
laugh. I loved her laugh. Like it was so, and when it got nervous, when that was like my favorite. Oh my God, I forgot about her.
I
Yeah, I know
love
she's
her.
in the top. She's in the top five for sure as
Yeah,
favorite TV moms.
just for, fun.
Yeah,
Fun. Yeah.
yeah.
I think she would probably be, but I can think,
Oh, she would be hilarious. I wish she was my neighbor.
Yeah, that
If you
would be
think
pretty
about it,
fun.
I would have loved her to be my
Oh,
neighbor.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Not Red because he's scary.
Well, I, he's a pussycat.
He is, but like anyway, yeah. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. Okay, everybody. Kim and I would love to wish you guys a happy Mother's Day or happy past Mother's Day if you're listening to this after Mother's Day has passed. We hope you, if you celebrated, you had a phenomenal one and it was great and you got everything you wanted if you wanted things, right? Hopefully, not, well, what's the, every on Mother's Day, one of the top selling things other than flowers for mothers is mugs.
Mugs? I was gonna say, is it like bottles of like whiskey or vodka or
No,
something?
it's mugs, and
Alcohol.
I love it because it's so true. You see the moms. It's so true. Number one selling thing is other than flowers. I read is mom mugs. So if you got another mom mug, I'm sure I'm going to. I hope it was a pretty color and it was a nice design at least.
And if, like you don't get stuff from your children for whatever reason, I hope that you did something for yourself to honor your job.
As you should.
Hmm.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. When Mother's Day comes around, my kids do whatever they do for me, but I actually get myself something. And it's not a narcissistic thing. I actually, it was something, I'll be honest, my therapist said mothers don't honor themselves. Mother's Day comes around once a year. If you don't honor yourself enough throughout the year, then on that day, you better take an hour or two to do something for you and be like, you know what? I'm one hell of a mom and I freaking deserve this. So I hope you honored yourself as well, because Kim brought up something up very, very important. Just because it's Mother's Day, you do not have to be honored by everybody. You can honor yourself on the same day, and I do. I honor myself
Yeah.
on the same day.
I struggle, but I'm
I
working
know
at
you
it.
do.
I'm
I know
working
you
at
do.
it.
I just
And
yelled at her before we started recording. I'm not complimenting you anymore.
yeah, well, you know. She's not very nice to me. She should
I'm
she
nice.
should respect her elders.
I just don't like when people, when, first of all, I complimented Kim on something because it looked really good, and then she had to make 1,000 excuses why I did it. So that
Well,
annoyed
it
me.
wasn't
She could have just
1,000, I
took it.
just one.
Fine,
It
100.
was one. But thank
Anyway,
you.
yes, you're welcome. Anyway, that's a good way to end the episode.
Yes.
Take the compliments, ladies. Take the
Yes.
compliments when someone gives them to you. Not the backhanded ones, and you know what I mean by those, okay? But when somebody's complimenting you, we are too quick to be like, oh, thanks, but, oh, no, no, no. No, zip it, shush.
Yes,
Thank you.
just say thank
Oh
you.
my God, thank you. That's so
Learn
nice.
how to take a compliment.
That's
I am
right.
struggling at
Okay?
that one.
I know
But
you are.
but
I know you are.
okay, so you're going to be keep your eyes out on our TikTok page. So
That's
I'm
right.
going to be posting Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm going to be doing little
That's right.
TikToks, different stories. Please, 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 please send comment on them. Tell me what you like. Tell me things that maybe you've encountered, please.
Mm-hmm.
And then every Sunday, you're going to have to go on and subscribe to
Yep.
YouTube and hit the little bell so then it'll come up for you because I have people saying, "Oh, I haven't are you still releasing them because I haven't seen anything." It's like, "You got to hit the bell." It's a reminder. It'll come up and
Yep.
it'll tell you when it comes up. Same thing with Spotify. And if you're listening to them, I think Spotify, I don't know if YouTube has it, but if you got Spotify and you're enjoying them, go give us 5 stars, man. Give us
That's
five
right.
stars. That's all we're
And
asking.
like it, thumbs it up.
Yeah, comment. Please comment. That's what gives us what we need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode. We do hope you had a lovely, lovely weekend, a fantastic Mother's Day if you celebrated, of course. And we will see you guys next week with a brand new episode.
We will.
Bye.
Bye.